Okay, this is a, let's call it a warmer plus. I added a little something to this warmer. What I'd like you to talk to each other about for just a minute there with somebody near and dear to you is, what's a warmer? I just did one. So what's a warmer? What do you mean when you say relax students? I'm not just asking Paul. What do we mean when we say relax students? Do we want them to go to sleep?
Kind of like breaks the ice a bit, makes you less scared.
Breaks the ice. Again, what? Sorry, I didn't hit the next piece.
Breaks the ice a bit and makes you less like shy to talk to other people.
Less shy to talk to other people. Okay, yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. The idea here is that when we say we want to make people relax, it's not that we want to make them sleep or make them drowsy or anything. We want to lower their affective barrier. Okay, it's called the affective filter. Everybody know what I'm talking about here? The affective filter. We okay on that? Okay. This is, again, just to illustrate the idea. I asked my wife, how do I say I want to go to Victory Monument to a taxi driver in Bangkok? And so she tells me, by Anutsavali Chai Cup, by Anutsavali Chai Cup. And so I say it to myself 300 or 400 or 500 times, you know, by Anutsavali Chai Cup, by Anutsavali. And, you know, dutifully I trot down the stairs, I walk out front, I wave down a taxi, I open up the front door. That's the affective filter, is that when the nervousness about speaking rises in a real situation, your brain literally downshifts. Junk, junk. Okay? The moment you need it most, it abandons you and goes to a lower level of neural activity. And this is actually true. This is actually true.
Can you write that term on the board, please?
Which one?
I don't know.
Affective filter? Okay. So we want to relax students. We want to lower the affective filter.
Like that's such a good way of doing it, because it like puts just one like individual on the spot, and I find it sort of like stuck in headlights, but like kind of a bit scary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me something else. Tell me something else. What's a warmer?
Mental appetizer.
A mental appetizer. You guys are so inventive. What do you mean by that, right?
It's sort of the pre-activity, something you do like for the main meal, the main learning.
And why would we do that?
Just to get the wheels turning.
Okay, sure, okay, get the wheels turning. Okay, please recognize you're saying two different things, which is perfectly all right. But you're not saying the same thing. You're saying get the wheels turning. In other words, you know, I was trying to get, you know, at 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, for most of us this is fairly early. Need to get the wheels turning. Okay, that's one thing. A second thing would be what you said, get them speaking in the target language, okay? So I'm going to add that. And in this case, of course, you know I mean speaking in English. Okay, we've covered the easy stuff, but maybe not the most important stuff. What else is a warmer supposed to do?
It can help set the tone for the classroom.
Sorry?
Help set the tone for the classroom.
Tone. What do you mean by tone?
If you have something fun and exciting, they're going to look forward to what else they're going to learn in the class, as opposed opposed to if you just come in and start lecturing, you know, they're going to immediately tune out.
Okay. Develop interest. Okay. Actually, there's another word that I like even better than interest, so I'm going to put it up here. To develop engagement. Because that implies not just who I'm interested, but I'm interested in doing something with it. I'm talking with somebody. I'm doing something, some sort of engagement. What else?
It establishes the group dynamic. You learn people's names and stuff like that as well. So you learn
Sure.
great speech and how people.
The group dynamic, group building. Yep. Two more things, very, very critical things. That's all right. I'm just fishing. If you don't get them, that's my job. Put them in there.
Developing interest and developing pace. Remember there's things like that.
You're close. You're close. I'm going to change it on you a little bit. I'm sort of going to work up on his end. It's to set procedure. You want to show them early on procedures that you're going to use during the lesson. The language in a warmer, is this known language or is this new, unknown language? Okay, critical. It's got to be known. Known L for known language, okay? Very, very important that it be known language. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fulfill all these other things here. It certainly isn't going to relax people if you walk in and say, Utsuhili Zhang, you know? Okay? Nor will it be very much of an appetizer, nor will it get students speaking, nor will it develop very much interest. Might very well develop quite a degree of fright or trauma. Okay? It won't do much for group dynamics, and it won't do much to set procedure because nobody will be able to do anything. Okay? So it's got to be known language. And what I mean about set procedure, what was my procedure?
Teacher, student.
And then,
Student.
right. I'm trying to set my procedure. Now, I added a little twist there, specifically just for you. Okay? I added a little short-term memory to my warmer, didn't I? Okay? Just to kind of get your interest in the morning. And I also set a procedure that made it hard for you to figure out who's going to be next here, which requires everybody to pay attention. I'm sorry, I know I'm very manipulating, but I did that on purpose. Okay? And you do need to think about those things. I mean, I want everybody's attention. So one of the things I'm going to do with my warmer is I'm going to get the students' attention. That is not one of the biggies, but I do think it's important. Is that I want to get their attention. I think it links back here to the mental appetizer. I think it links also back here with developing interest and engagement, maybe a slightly different way of saying the same thing. Okay, now I asked you what you like to do for exercise. What's my lesson going to be about, ladies and gentlemen? Living in the city, living in the country? No. No, what's my lesson going to be about?
Different kinds of exercise.
It's going to be about exercise in some way. As a matter of fact, this is a possible warmer for Unit 8 of Interchange 1. Okay? And the warmer is about exercise, but it's specifically about how often and how long. In other words, aerobic exercise. Okay? And so I start my lesson by doing a warmer that focuses the lesson. I've also produced something on the board here in terms of focusing the lesson that I'm going to go on and use. Now, a good teacher, or let's say when we're teaching good, It's not like everybody's a good teacher all the time, are they? No, no, we have good days, we have bad days. But let's say when we have our good days, a good teacher, when they're teaching, you can barely tell the difference between their warmer and when their lesson starts. You can't see it. Really good teaching is almost seamless. Okay? And this is my intention with this, because where would I go from here? Okay, let's see. Bob, let's see, you, what do you do for exercise? You walk and go to the gym, right? Okay, how often do you walk?
About once every 3 months.
Okay. Okay. So this is going to start into my lesson, as I'm going to bring up to the board here once in 3 months, and I'm going to work, how often, and then we're going to go back to the same thing with how long. And then I'm going to ask people to talk to each other about which activities they think are aerobic and which activities they think are aerobic. And then from there I can walk in, believe it or not to the conversation activity in the unit. I would go straight to the reading activity in the unit, which we're going to do later on. Because the reading activity goes into defining what's aerobic and what isn't. So that would be kind of a natural launch off this particular warmer. Okay? So I not only wanted to focus my lesson, but I want to, if I can, produce something that I can use. I can work off it and go into developing the core of my lesson. Okay. Very important, because it's very common in here for people to come in and I say, what's a warmer? And they say, it's an icebreaker. That's fine. That's one attribute of a warmer. But you wouldn't want to have a warmer asking people about what they do for exercise and then move on into a lesson on eating in a restaurant. Unless you want to make a particular link there. I suppose you could. Okay, so your warmer should focus your lesson. Your warmer should set the procedures.